Grüß, willkommen in einem anderen aufregendes video. Welcome to yet another exciting video, in this case part 11 of my organisational series. In this case, I'll be providing a very short view of the Belgian World War II Division's combat strengths. This video is an unusually short one, but considering the next three will be covering Britain, Russia and Germany, which will all be enormously long, I wanted to do the short one first. All combat strengths are determined using figure gaming, wargaming rules, specifically Corps Commander sets of rules, where the points are based on tangible weapon system features. Additional details can be found in my earlier videos of this if you want to identify how the combat strengths are calculated. Just a quick point, 100 points of tanks will operate very differently from 100 points of infantry. So when you compare tank battalions with infantry battalions, you really do need to go through a subjective filter. However, comparing tank battalions between periods or nationalities is quite viable. Final caveat, obviously a figure gaming point system is a fairly rough way of determining combat strengths. So I, as a result, divide all the points by 250, which allows you to get a smaller number, and you can be pretty certain that if the number says 2, it is clearly inferior to a number of 3. The Belgium involvement in World War II occurred when the Germans invaded them in May. The bulk of the Belgian army were their infantry divisions. The actual Belgium infantry divisions were reasonably good, with the battalions being of a decent strength and with reasonable support formations at most levels, with some interesting innovative weapon systems such as tank destroyers involved. In addition to the infantry divisions, the Belgians also fielded a couple of cavalry divisions, which were their mobile formations. These contained most of the tank destroyers, as well as actually bicycle-mounted infantry, so it was quite a bit of a mix. The Belgians actually fielded a reasonably good tank destroyer, which was distributed to many of their divisions. However, they never organised these tank destroyers into battalion-sized formations, so they're embedded in the formations you see here. The cavalry division, or a better name would really be probably a light division, was a reasonably mobile formation with motorised infantry, bicycle-mounted infantry, and of course armoured fighting vehicles. Unfortunately, the bicycle battalions did kind of drag the division down, but nonetheless, this was a reasonably good mobile division. The Belgian army didn't last particularly long in World War II after the German invasion. It rapidly surrendered afterwards, so there's no way of comparing how the Belgian army would have developed over the period of the war. But we can certainly compare the Belgian army against other major powers, as you can see here. The Belgian infantry divisions were reasonable. The most powerful battalions were their motorcycle battalions. The Belgian army did lack any battalion level armour. Because of the experience the Belgians gained in World War I, and I have to admit they gained a lot of experience, the Belgian army was well led and its troops well trained. However, against the German army, it could not hope to hold out for long without assistance from the French, and once the French were defeated, that was the end of poor old Belgium. And so we come to an end of my very short part 11 of my video series on organisation, in this case analysing the Belgian army in World War II, specifically the estimated combat strengths of the battalions which made up the divisions. Alle guten Dinge, kommen zu einem Ende.